Hello, it's Mika Okeke again, the author of No Space for Junk and Unbroken Coma to Conqueror. And like I said, this channel is going to be about Unbroken Coma to Conqueror, and I'm just going to continue the story from where I stopped the last time. Again, if you want to buy the book, it's on Amazon and many platforms online. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to do a recap of where we stopped the last time on the last video. My husband got to the hospital the next day, believing that the surgery had been done and he would have met me post-surgery, but that surgery wasn't done, and he freaked out because he was like, time is of the essence here. So he came in, he touched my foot because they had been applying pressure to both my feet to see what response I'll give, and I had been flinching my feet the previous day, but today when my husband got there, I did not flinch. So he went, and when the doctor came, the doctor did the same assessment and the same thing happened. That's when they rushed me to the operating room. So they went and they started the surgery. My husband, I don't know what he was doing then, maybe he waited or maybe like, I don't know. So they did the surgery, and the surgery took a long time. So my husband came, I think, anyways, after the surgery, I think later that day or the next morning again, he came and he saw me laying there. You can see the picture of me laying there in Unbroken Coma to Conqueror. And now, hoping, my husband and my family were hoping that I will wake up. And the doctors kept telling my husband that don't get your hope too high. She might wake up, she might not. She might also wake up and not be able to walk. She might also wake up and not be able to recognize you or any member of the family. They kept reminding my husband about this. So my husband, as they were telling him, he was telling my family back home. And then my family just kept praying that this is not going to be our portion and she's going to come back, and she's going to come back alive. So people have asked me what happened laying there. What I can remember from laying there is one time I had a dream that I had gotten up and saw myself tied down and all those things with all the machine. And so I took everything off, including the intubation. I took it off and I went home because I was like, where's my son? If I'm laying here, where's my son? So I went home and I saw my son alone by himself. So I got my son in the car and I drove back to the hospital. But I told my son to wait for me in the car and went back to the hospital, intubated myself and lay there. So as I was laying there, the nurse came in. That was the first time I remember opening my eyes to the real life. So remember, I had been going through this dream that I thought was real. I was pretty sure was real when the nurse came in, and the nurse was like, oh, hi, how are you? But I was freaking out on the inside. I couldn't talk at this time. I had the intubation in, so I asked the nurse to give me a writing pad. I put on the note that my son was in the parking lot, and I confessed to the nurse what I thought I had done the previous night. The nurse looked at me like, and she said, I'll call your husband to see if your son is home. That's what she said. To this day, being a nurse myself, I can tell you that I appreciate how that nurse handled the situation, because if he tried to make me see the reality, I would have tried to prove to her that yes, I went home and I would have tried to pull the tube out of my throat. But she didn't. She just said, oh, I'll call your husband. And when she was taking too long, she hadn't called my husband. I kept looking at her through the window, and when she came in again, I asked her, and then she called my husband. My husband said my son was home, and that was it. I believed the nurse. I believed my son was home, being taken care of by my husband. I did not care. I did not think about how my son got home. I just believed the nurse. This is where I will stop, and next week, join me when I will tell you about what happened after I became conscious and as I was returning to life. Bye bye. See you in the next video. And don't forget to buy a copy of Unbroken, Coma to Conqueror.